I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, people, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Actually, that's not how I meant to start this, but my hand is numb from playing pickleball earlier. So I'm trying to get it unnumb by keeping it warm. Anyway, hey everybody, if you are new to this short broadcast that I do every day, I am your host, Stacy Lynn, and I host my daily show, Bible News Radio, at 4 p.m. Central Time. And today, what we do here is we get slugged. So today we're going to talk about the U in getting slugged, which is understanding. And I wanted to read you a verse from the Bible. It's Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. And it says this, and you probably know it if you've been a believer for any length of time, but it says this: trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. Now, verse 6 goes on to say, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight, or direct your paths, depending on the version that you use. But today, I wanted to talk a little bit about understanding, because here's the thing. Sometimes when misunderstandings happen, it's because we haven't taken the time to actually understand. I want to share a little bit of a story with you, okay? I have a friend at pickleball who is an older player who moves very slowly. And probably 2 or 3 years ago, when I first started playing pickleball, this person played really well. And anyway, long story short, me playing with them, I quickly passed their level because they're a lot older and slower. And one day I was getting really irritated because they were not moving much. And I was feeling like irritated. I'm just feeling irritated. Hi, Mama Gina. But I decided I would still play and not go down and play on another side where there's faster people, because I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of myself at the same time. So, long story short, a couple weeks later, I decided to ask my friends at pickleball to share with me if there was anything that they had ever gone through that they never thought that they would be able to survive. And this particular person said to me, oh yeah, there was when I learned how to walk again twice. And I was like, oh my gosh, you learned to walk twice? Again? You learned to walk again twice? And they went on to tell me what happened and how it was that they ended up in a wheelchair and all of that. One time when they were a child, they were ran over by a car. Another time, they fell off a horse. And so they had to go through recovery, physical therapy, and all that other stuff in order to learn to walk again. And so that helped me to understand her a lot better and why she wasn't moving around. And instead of looking at her in one way and going, oh my gosh, can't you move quicker? It was more like, oh, now I get it. I'm playing a woman instead of this person that is irritating me. Well, it's the same way with us scripturally. The Bible says to trust in the Lord with all of our heart and to lean not on our own understanding. In all of our ways, to acknowledge him, and he will direct our path. But when we lean on our own understanding in the circumstances that we're in, this is when we get in trouble, people. True story. Because I don't know about you, I have a limited understanding of situations that I get in, right? And I really try my best to broaden my horizon, to open my eyes, to always look at the alternate point of view. Even on our show, I do that. I try to use source material from the other side. I'm objecting on whatever the issue is because I don't want to be accused of not looking at the other side, right? You can't judge fairly if you don't hear both sides. And trust me, as a retired marriage counselor, I can tell you, one woman would come in, wife would come in and talk about a problem, then a husband would come in and they would tell me the other side, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a completely different picture I'm getting now, because each side has their own understanding. But here's the thing, what are we supposed to do if we're not leaning on our own understanding? Well, according to this verse, we're supposed to trust in the Lord. How? With all of our heart. And that is where I think a lot of believers struggle, myself included, because frankly, we live in a very materialistic world. It's very hard sometimes to understand what the heck God is doing, but we just have to trust Him. We have to. We have to trust in Him. And He's really the only one, honestly, that's worthy of our trust. Because He's the one that made us, He's the one that created us, He's the one that is not going to lie to us, He's not going to abandon us. So you can know and be comforted that if you put your trust in God, then, first of all, He's not going to leave you. Second of all, He's never going to lie to you. And these are two things humans do, right? Humans lie and they leave, but God won't. So we can, say we trust people, like as an example, but do we ever really trust anybody with all of our heart? I mean, I know for me, there have been a couple people, honestly, I have. And one person in particular, I've regretted it. Another person in particular, I've never regretted it, and that would be my husband. But I don't understand my husband completely, even though I've known him for a while. So anyway, in our SLUGd acronym today, I just want you to think about, when you're in a situation, what is it that you're trying to figure out that you're not really understanding? And I just want to encourage you, don't lean on your own understanding, because it's flawed. And you will never know all sides of the story. Even in court, some things are admissible in court, some things aren't, right? I mean, so that's kind of a bummer that way. We have limited knowledge, but what we can do is trust in the Lord with all of our heart. He will take care of us. And that you can take to the bank. You know what I mean? You really can. Right now I have numbness in my hand, and I know that, I don't understand where it is, the pinch in my nerve. That's why I have this on my neck, because I have a pinched nerve somewhere in my neck. But the thing is, what I know is that God knows, and He can do what He can do in order to bring healing to that area of my body that, needs healing. So I trust that. And here's the other thing too. When you actually trust God, you actually have a ability to see the fruit of the Spirit really work in your life, because the fruit of the Spirit is love. So God is love. It's joy. When you trust God, you have joy, usually. Peace, definitely. You have a lot of peace when you're trusting God. Patience, well, those are developed over time, let's just be honest. Kindness, it's easier to be kind to people when you're understanding, you're trying not to lean on your own understanding, trying to take a different perspective. Gentleness, it's easier to be gentle with people, and it's definitely easier to have some self-control if you have your perspective and what it is that you're trying to do right. You know what I mean? So that's what I got for you today. Get slugged. So I will be broadcasting in about an hour over at for our regular episode, Bible News Radio. Facebook is down today. It's having a lot of problems. Instagram, I hear, is also having some problems. So it must mean Facebook is upgrading or something, and or they've been hacked. And if they have been hacked and breached, then if you're a Legal Shield member, good. And if you have identity theft protection, good for you, because you might need it. But we'll see. We'll see. For sure, we'll be on Periscope. We'll be here on YouTube. Facebook is questionable at this point. I don't know if we're going to be able to get on that or not, but, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You know what I mean? I don't really care. It really does. I really don't care, actually. So, so anyway, there you have it. So I hope you have a good rest of your day. I am going to put down the phone because I need to get my hand where it's not so numb. And did this die on me when I... Okay. Well, anyway, so I am going to put this down now. Somebody called me on Messenger. Somebody who never calls me, actually. That's very weird. But anyway, so I'll see you in about an hour. Okay. Bye. And I should say, wait, before I leave, don't forget to subscribe